Hey everyone, I'm back with my review for the Tumi Sheppard Deluxe Brief Pack. So let me get this out of the way right at the start. I cut this review short by about a month. Once I was able to confirm something by switching to another bag mid-review. Then I decided not to continue using the bag once I confirmed it. I promise I'll get to that. First I'm going to go through my loadout, so feel free to skip to this timestamp to get back to the review. Okay, let's get into the build. The entire bag is pretty rigid, and it'll hold its shape even when completely empty. This is due to the thick and durable ballistic nylon shell and how it's molded and contoured in these areas where the different sections meet up. The seams come together nicely. There isn't a spot where I found poor craftsmanship, with a big exception coming up. The top handle feels strong and durable. I can't see how it's attached, but it feels pretty damn secure. The internals feel delicate, but pretty strong. I did hesitate to put sweaty clothes in here because it's so nice. But otherwise, the bag is built great. So on to the big negative. Now what I'm about to say is unique to my experience, my specific use cases, and my body. I'm not an expert at bag manufacturing or design. I've used a lot of bags and draw my knowledge from those experiences. Okay, still here? All right, so this bag was uncomfortable right from the start. I didn't know why, at least not right away. During my first commute with the bag, I noticed I was constantly shifting the bag on my back to try and relieve the discomfort I was feeling on my traps. It wasn't until a few days into it when I started to feel some soreness in my traps that I decided to switch to another bag to test this out. There's something really wrong about these straps, and I'm not 100% sure what it is. I have observations and what I think the problem is, so let's get into that. I know they feel really mushy and have no internal structure to help disperse the load. Let me explain that a little bit. So from my experience, the straps usually have a layer of dense foam. It feels pretty hard and rigid. I think this layer helps to disperse the load wherever the strap is making contact with your body. On this Tumi, the straps feel like the sponges you use to wash your dishes. The only thing that's helping these straps hold their shape is the stitching down the middle here. There's nothing but soft foam here. Now that may sound ideal and super comfortable, but it's absolutely wrong here. There's also this angular shape that I noticed right when I saw the bag. The angle here doesn't seem to follow the shape of a human person. I called that out in my first impressions video. So when you're wearing the bag, the outside edge of the strap isn't actually making contact with your traps, causing the entire load to be concentrated on this inner edge. I've been paying real close attention around the office because there's plenty of these bags around, and I noticed this every time I saw it. This outside edge is just hovering, not contributing to help to disperse the weight of your carry. Now, you've all seen my typical loadout. I'm not carrying like 50, 60, 70 pounds worth of gear. It's actually around 18 pounds, and I did weigh it because I started looking into this and it turned into a whole thing. So I wanted to make a quick comparison, just so you can see the drastic difference with a properly made harness. This is the Axiom 24 from Triple Alt Design. You can see how far back it starts to make contact with my traps, and it's complete surface contact with every part of the strap, and it is super comfortable. Hopefully the difference, seeing these back to back, is going to be immediate. And then just for good measure, this is the Synapse from Tom Ben. This is my newest pack. Much thinner straps, but you can see complete contact from the very back all the way down to the front. This is amazingly comfortable, and coming to this bag immediately after the Tumi was like a breath of fresh air. Again, hopefully you can see the immediate difference, and you can tell going back to that Tumi how wrong those straps look on a human person, at least on me. I'm knocking down some serious points because that is unforgivable. I can look over poorly implemented pockets or not great water resistance or zippers that get stuck every now and then. But if you can't design a good harness and you can't make a bag that's comfortable to wear, then that is completely unforgivable. And why are you even making bags? To compound to that, it's a $500 bag. So this is kind of encroaching on a personal offense for me. So this bag gets a 5 for build quality. I mean, I can't stress enough how important it is that I not think about the bag that's on my back when I'm wearing it. I need to be able to just ignore that it's there, but once I start feeling things poking at me or chafing or rubbing at me the wrong way, then you got yourself a problem. Okay, I'm done with that part of it. Let's move on. Let's talk about the materials. The bag is ballistic nylon, one of my favorite materials. It's treated with a coat of water repellency, but I wasn't able to test that. Up against your back, you'll have some soft foam and mesh. It doesn't have any ventilation lanes, but that doesn't matter because you're going to sweat anyways. It is comfortable against your back, but it's so mushy that it actually creates a bit of a vacuum back there. You'll sweat anyways, but you're going to sweat extra good when this thing is on your back. The zippers are not YKK. Tumi uses their own proprietary zippers that are supposed to never need replacing. They're also not rated for any water resistance. They felt fine, but a little bit noisy. Although this zipper here that's used for the quick access pocket wasn't always super smooth. It feels like those sharp, chunky zippers that they use in those heavy leather jackets. I wasn't a huge fan of this one. One thing that did drive me nuts, however, is how loud these zipper pulls can be. I was this close to cutting them all off and replacing them with corded zipper pulls. But the look of the bag wouldn't really fit that kind of look, so I endured with it. There's some genuine leather here, although it's not my favorite material in packs. I like that this colorway came with these additional straps that are both functional and help cover this large patch of leather. Now the interior will continue to be my favorite part about these bags. It looks great and it feels amazing. I love the honeycomb pattern and it feels super plush in there. This part never let me down. The straps I already talked about. I'm still not sure what these things are for. There's plastic hardware here, which I don't mind, so long as it's a smooth experience, and it is here. The materials on these adjustment pulls is the middle ground between the seatbelt material that I like and that super coarse, chunky stuff. This is right in the middle and it feels fine. One of these side pockets is lined with a water resistance lining, so you can store a water bottle in there or an umbrella. And it's got a little vent at the bottom here to help with any moisture. I'm gonna give the materials an 8. This was close to a 9, but the straps here are a major problem for me. And it's gonna take a ding here too, because it's part of the, it's kind of tied to the build here. The materials, I should say. Everywhere else, the materials are great. I'm not taking into account the lack of water resistance, as this bag isn't advertised for that sort of thing. Okay, let's get into the organization, which is really good here. 2 very large side pockets, 1 small throw pocket here that's lining this larger organizational pocket. You'll find some pen loops in here, a key hook that's non-detachable, some card slots that I didn't really care about, and another throw area at the very back here. This pocket has a little bit of its own volume, which I really like, but it's not so much, so be mindful about throwing bulky items in here. Above this is another pretty large throw pocket. The main compartment can be pretty spacious if you haven't overloaded the laptop compartment directly behind it. There's also the zippered compartment here that I think is for documents. I wouldn't recommend throwing anything bulky in here. It extends the entire length of the bag, and it also looks super dope in this red color. This laptop compartment is pretty crazy. It opens full accordion and can actually take up the entire volume of the main compartment if you want to use it to its capacity, because there's loads of room here for stuff. The laptop compartment is pretty fat, so unless you have a thick gaming laptop, a regular laptop is going to be a little loose in here, and I'm not too crazy about that. There's so much room here that I started using this for my keyboard and notebook and charger. It takes up a lot of space, but it was nice that I can keep that stuff separately from the main compartment. The capacity is on the mid to lower side. If you saw my Axiom 24 review, I had my worst case scenario loadout in there. I couldn't fit all that stuff in here. So on the week that I intended to start this review, I actually had to go back to the Axiom just to get all my stuff back in the office. And then I switched back to this bag to carry just my normal everyday stuff. Oddly enough, they don't list the capacity anywhere on their site, only the measurements, which is 17 inches high by 14 inches wide by 8 inches deep. If you want to convert that to liters using the math thing, feel free. I'm guessing it's something like 20 to 22 liters, since I couldn't fit everything in my Axiom loadout. There's also a very thin strip of padding that's keeping your laptop from making contact with the ground, so that's kind of bogus for a $500 pack. There's also this odd pocket up here that rests up against your back. I'm not sure what this is supposed to be for, but I tried putting my very minimal wallet in there, and I felt it poking at my back, even my iPhone. So if you plan on using this pocket here, unless it's a single sheet of paper, you're gonna feel it up against your back. It's also gonna get wet since there's no zipper here. It's just held together by a magnetic closure. I'm gonna give organization an 8. I thought about a 9, but like I do with every 9 that I'm about to give out, I think about the Nomadic pack, which is the only pack I've given a 9 to for organization, and that one still has more pockets. So I'm giving an 8 to this one. So that's a 5, 8, and an 8. Those are pretty okay numbers, right? Well, yeah, they are. But when you remember that Tumi wants you to pay $500 for this bag, and it only comes with a 5-year warranty. 5 years. Like, bro, my North Face Access gets a lifetime warranty. So does my Axiom 24 from Triple Law Design. My Tom Bin Synapse. All of my Chrome Industry bags. My Mission Workshop Vandal. So I call bullshit on that, Tumi. You need to stand by your $500 product. I had to hit up Google to find that Tumi manufactures their bags in China. They don't say that on their site, by the way. I don't get why they try so hard not to tell you. So then why are you paying so much? Why are you paying such a crazy premium for a pretty okay bag? Now, if you've been with me for a while, you'll know that I'm happy to pay a premium when it makes sense. Like when bags are made in the US, I know the people making the product are at least getting paid a minimum wage, hopefully working normal hours, and are making a living. So they get a pass on that because I know that the cost has to get passed down to me, the customer. So why pay that much for this bag then? Well, that's a good question. It's the same reason you do for everything else. The brand, baby. You want that Tumi badge hanging off your back the same way I want my shirts to have that little horsey hanging out near my chest. So there it is. If you're okay paying a crazy premium for a brand that happens to make a pretty okay bag and it covers it for a whole 5 years, then this bag is absolutely for you. But if your eyebrows are raised right now, then good. Check out my other videos and make a smarter choice. So thanks for watching. I'll be back with my first impressions on this lovely Synapse from Tom Bin. See ya.